You know, there's two things you're going to need as a gardener to get actual food out of your garden. The first thing is a hard heart. The second thing is one of these. So a couple weeks ago, I put out some cabbage plants, some lettuce plants, and some onions, and some potatoes, and some garlic, and some other things out there I wanted to plant in my garden. And this rabbit came along and has chewed down almost all of my cabbage, a lot of my lettuce plants, and even some of my garlic tops have been snipped off. So what do you do about that? Well, it seems like I'll admit very often that there are gardeners who come to me and they'll say, Zach, you know, I have this rabbit problem, or I have this gopher problem, or I have this whatever pest issue you can think of. What do I need to do about that? And a lot of times they don't like the answer. The answer is going to be you need to deal with that animal and remove it. And chances are you're just going to have to kill it. Okay, you can catch it and release it somewhere else. You can do that. You know, sometimes depending on what the problem is, you may make your problem someone else's problem, and I don't think that's really a kind thing to do. So what's better to do is just eliminate the problem. Have the ability to eliminate that problem. You can try to catch them with live traps, although trying to catch a rabbit, which is my problem right now today, with a live trap is going to be a little bit difficult. So they don't like going into live traps, but you can do it. Sometimes you have to get rough. So I have a 22, basically a Ruger 1022 here, and I also have this conibear. And this conibear is probably going to be my solution. So what I've tried to do over the last week is try to snipe this thing from a distance, and I have not been successful. He's not been out when I need to have him be out, or he's been at the wrong angle, or I can't get to him. Or, you know, in one case, just a few days ago, I was out here and I saw him unexpectedly. All of a sudden he was there, and I unloaded my 9mm at him, and, you know, he was running along the fence line trying every which way to get out of my garden. Finally, he found a hole, but I found that hole too. So we're going to plug that hole with a conibear. And this is something that I've talked about in other videos. A conibear is an amazing way to eliminate a problem in your garden. And I have different size conibears. This is what's called a 110 conibear. And I have 330 conibears, I have 220 conibears, different sizes to deal with different problems. And so the way this is set is easy. You squeeze the spring and you, wait a minute. There we go. Squeeze the spring. You set your trigger right here. And then you wait for Mr. Rabbit to come through. And then no more Mr. Rabbit. So I did a video a couple years ago on what's called a squirrel pole. And I think the title of the video was how to kill a bazillion squirrels. Probably illegal, because I think for most places, at least in Missouri, I know in Missouri it is. But the reason why some of these things are illegal is because they work. I don't think it's illegal to run these for rabbits, so it's pretty easy to do. It's not illegal. You can do it. But for larger conibears like the 220 and 330, there are regulations. So make sure you are, you know, keeping track of your local laws, state laws, or whatever else. But this is something that you can use in the garden, and we're going to plug this hole. I'm going to show you where this hole is real quick. Okay, now right back in here, there's this hole, and this is where he ran through the other day. He went right under here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that conibear right in there. But before I do that, I'm going to set this on a hair trigger. So now if you can see on the trigger where this trigger sets, I sanded this down to make it really smooth. So there's no rust that's going to keep it from the trigger from falling. I'm going to set it just about like that. And I also sanded the inside of the trigger. So it should be pretty smooth and easy. But it's kind of sitting on a hair trigger. Let me see if I can get that on more of a hair trigger. Maybe like that. Might be pretty good. So what I'll do is I'll basically set this in the hole, and he'll run through here. He'll see these wires and he'll just think they're twigs or something. And he'll run through that and then snap. It's all over for Mr. Rabbit. Okay, so kind of in the debris, you can see how he's getting under the fence right here, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the conibear in here. Really careful, because this is on a hair trigger. And I'm going to kind of slide it up in between, like that. And that'll still give a lot of room for the trigger to come up and for him to go underneath. But that kind of supports it when you put it in between the fence like that, if you can see that. So we'll see how that works. You can anchor these down in different ways, but these are kill traps. So if he does get caught in this, chances are he's a goner. I may come out here and stake it down. There's a ring on a chain that I can stake it down just in case. I'm worried about maybe it running off if I only partially get him. But chances are he's going to be put out of commission instantly. Now what I've done is I took off some branches of this bush right here and I put the ring over the top of it. So if he does try to run off, hopefully he won't get too far. We'll see. He may be able to pull that out, but I doubt he'll be running too far with this. Every year it's going to be something different. It's going to be tomato hornworms, it's going to be aphids, it's going to be a gopher, it's going to be a rabbit, it's going to be a groundhog. Something is going to get into your garden and just cause havoc. And so you really need to be prepared as a gardener to go on the offensive and defend your garden. If you really want to get food out of your garden, you need to be able to do what is necessary to eliminate pest pressures. And sometimes, and as you go, you're going to learn different ways that work and ways that don't work. No one develops a green thumb overnight. You really just don't. But you see people who have a green thumb, who have a real true green thumb, those are people who have a lot of experience. They deal with pest pressures. They know there's different ones every year, and they adapt and overcome. So it's just, every year in your garden, you're going to get ready to do battle. So get ready to do battle this year. Let me know in the comments below what you have experienced in years past, what you have experienced so far this year, if there's been anything. It's still early in the springtime. We still have a long way to go. In fact, most of the leaves aren't even fully on the trees yet, and I'm already having to deal with my first pest pressure. So maybe hopefully that's not indicative of the year to come. I just started my tomatoes and my pepper plants. I have not had those in the garden yet. It's still early in my opinion. We have a long growing season here in Northwest Arkansas, so I'm not too big of a rush to get my plants all out yet. Some people, their tomato plants are this big already. We just had on April 20th, temperatures dipped down to 26 degrees. And the cry that went out through the land because people thought the danger of frost was over, and it wasn't. I have seen 3 inches of snow here in Northwest Arkansas before on May 1st. May 1st. So don't be too anxious to get started. You learn this as you go, and I remember on May 1st, when that first happened, it was our first year living in Northwest Arkansas. I lost a bunch of my plants. I was doing aquaponics at the time. All of my tilapia died. But I learned. It was horrific, but I learned. And so you will learn too. All right, leave a comment below. Let me know what things you've experienced this year and years past. If you have an interesting way to deal with rabbits, people say put poison out. I don't deal with that. I don't do chemicals and stuff like that. I don't want to put poison out for animals because, especially in my garden where I'm going to be eating the food that I grow. So I don't do things like that. I'd rather just use a 22 or use a conibear trap and just deal with it that way. All right, guys, leave a comment below. Hit that like button before you go. It helps YouTube know that people actually do, in fact, watch our channel. Check out our Teespring merch, Common Sense. It's just not so common anymore. And our Stupid Shit Hurt shirt also is available in our Teespring links below the video. All right, guys, see you next time in the Homestead. Bye. Hey, guys, I'm happy to introduce an American Homestead sponsor, Zervita Zeal. Now, first off, I only accept sponsors from products that I use and believe in. My family uses Zeal mainly because we want to ensure a healthy immune system. You see, it's made up of only whole food concentrates and includes no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. The included sweetener is all natural from fruit and the stevia leaf. It's gluten-free, it's vegan, and it's kosher. In 2018, my youngest son was involved in a bike accident that resulted in the surgical removal of his spleen, and that's an important part of his immune system. And because we live on a farm, you can guess that having a healthy immune system for our family is very important. Some of the included ingredients are beetroot, chicory root, turmeric, moringa, blueberries, cranberry, goji berry, milk thistle, ginseng, alfalfa, broccoli, and so much more. It's these natural ingredients that can easily be made into a powerful and tasty drink that my family can make and feel good about. So sign up and give it a try today. Every purchase you make goes to help the homestead so that we can continue to make great homesteading videos for you. Link is in the description below. Go ahead, give it a try. Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the homestead that we make here on the homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. I'll wait.